Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. LSU with a big win over Florida on Saturday. Some people not quite happy with the way the game was played. Nonetheless, when you're playing in the SEC and you can get a win against a program that has the talent that Florida has, it's always a good thing. LSU wins it 20-10 offensively. Some things have to happen better for the Tigers, but I think they will along the way. And obviously they played defense extremely well this past Saturday night. Coach Brian Kelly spoke a little bit about his team, about the things they're doing, and what he thinks of Southeastern this upcoming week. Here's Brian Kelly.
You know, we played a tough opponent. That Florida team was desperate in the way they played. Their defense is stout and physical. And, you know, they're a football team that is difficult to play. And I'm proud of our guys' performance. They overcame early on in the game the loss of their leader on defense. And that's a difficult thing emotionally. And our guys hung in there. Our next man in mantra was on display. You know, I'd always wanted to get all the Weeks boys in the game, and I did. I just didn't get them all at the same time. And that's you know, having the you know, the vision to know that depth is going to be counted on. And Devon Keys came in, played a great game in Witt's absence. He went from 42 plays the week before to 88. And so just to be prepared to step in and do the kind of job he did, I thought was outstanding. Obviously, from an SEC standpoint, Deshaun Spears was named the Defensive SEC Player of the Week, deservingly so. He was really good and has been in our nickel coverage. Read the eyes of the quarterback, stole one, brought it back for a touchdown, and had another interception later. So really, really pleased with his performance. You know, the rest really is the flow of the game. You know, going back to after watching the film and you know, being able to answer the question from an offensive line standpoint and running the football, where we've got to get better is technically. Our guys are playing hard. They are locked in. We've got to be better in terms of technique. This is a big week for us, you know, in terms of developing the technique and the experience that we have, and still being consistent with running the football. And I was happy with that. Our play calling never put us in a situation where we were so far behind the chains that it became a situation where we put the ball in harm's way. We've got to convert some third down situations. So when we look at this from a bigger picture standpoint, third down conversions are really what we need to do a better job with, third and short in particular. So that's the work that we'll see a lot of moving forward, because we're going to be in a number of those situations. So that's Florida. We move on to Southeastern. You know, look, there's a number of guys on this roster that are going to be playing here in Tiger Stadium with an edge. And what's important for us is to prepare this week with a sense of urgency. Based upon my comments here, there's some things that we've got to get better at. And not just on offense. It's offense, defense, and special teams. So this is an important week for us, because after this, we get into a gauntlet of games with SEC opponents. So get better this week in practice. Have a sense of urgency. So when we perform on Saturday, we're putting out a great performance. And that, to me, is the most important thing relative to our preparation. Coach Selfo, I've known for a long time. He's an outstanding coach. He's certainly well acquainted with the state of Louisiana. And certainly they've coming off a nice victory this past weekend against Mississippi Valley. You know, again, they run a couple of quarterbacks. This is an offense that, you know, we're going to need to be one-dimensional. Again, looking to stop the run. And then from a defensive standpoint, you know, they get some really good players. The Proctor kid is an outstanding player, very twitchy. He's a lot like our guy Gooden. He is active, tackles for a loss. and you know, Reno, the linebackers all over the field. So they've got good players. They're going to be excited about this opportunity. We have to work on ourselves this week with that sense of urgency and working on the technical part, the tactical part, so we put a great performance together on Saturday.
So this Saturday night, it will be Southeastern. That is a 6:45 start time in Death Valley. You can catch it on ESPN Plus if you're not able to go to that game. This is one of those games where, quite honestly, there are a lot of tickets available because a lot of those season ticket holders give up these in-state type games to other people. And obviously, you can listen to it on the LSU radio network. Southeastern is not a bad football team. Unfortunately, if you're a Southeastern fan, it's not playing at the same level as LSU, right? I mean, quite honestly, it's a situation where the resources are not quite the same. Now, they went out and they just hammered Mississippi Valley this week, where they scored a ton of points, almost a quarter of 100 points, and Mississippi Valley didn't score at all. But remember, this is the same team that lost to Louisiana Tech to open up the year, and they lost to Louisiana Tech 24-0 in that game, although they did move the ball steadily. This is a chance, in all probability, for LSU to get sharper in a lot of their games and maybe a little measuring stick for Southeastern. Nonetheless, Saturday night, LSU and Southeastern. Got to take a break. We'll be back after this timeout.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.